Hey YouTube, going to shuffle up some videos. I had a couple already shot for Wednesday. This was going to go up Thursday or Friday, but then all of a sudden I sent out a Great League teams with PVPoke rankings, and sometime between shooting and the 14 hours later when it was live, PVPoke has updated the rankings. So I want to quickly talk about the rankings here. So other videos may seem out of place. It's because they are, but that's okay. We need to go over these new rankings. More pat on the back for me with Dusclops. Yeah, it was again ranked 90, like 70, somewhere between 70 and 90 in the initial ones, and I said no way, that's super underrated, and now it's back to number 9. So not surprising there. Corsola is number 1. I'm not surprised that Ghost has risen, given that some fairies have risen, right? So you have Togekiss, which is pretty low on the list, I think, if I remember. 81, yeah, but there are, I think, more fairies. I think with the Charm, Wigglytuff is up there. Azumarill's always up there. Jadene's been up there for a while. Florges with the Chilling Water is now up there. Tinkatong is up there. So with so many more fairies, I think you're just going to see less darks in general. So with darks a little less prevalent and ghosts only weak to dark and ghost, it is not surprising that a lot of ghosts are now near the top. So you got the ghosts, you got your just go-to. I know someone mentioned that Credilli is 2 with acid, 12 with bullet seed, and the shadow is 101. And people were really wondering, like, why is it so significantly lower? And I'll just give you like an example of what the shadow does to this Pokemon and why you don't want the shadow. Basically, the question is, are you now taking one less move to be taken out, or are you doing one less move to take the opponent out? If you add a shadow damage, you're not really going to take any Pokemon out in one. It's still going to take 2. Most of the time, it takes 2 Rock Tombs or Grass Nuts to take out a Pokemon anyway. So you're really not some take 3, so maybe you flip some of those matchups, but you're not really taking out more Pokemon with the Shadow version anyways. What you would get up, though, is damage, and I just use Blastoise again, and non-Shadow Credilli can live 2 Hydro Cannons, but it would, from a Shadow, it would be taken out in 2. So I think in the Shadow Credilli, you just don't take out Pokemon any faster, but you're taking a lot more damage and you're being taken out faster. So I think that's why there's a significant difference in Credilli there. Otherwise, Corviknight's down a bit to 14. I've kind of mentioned this. I think Corviknight I understand its strengths. You can go look at my Beyond the Hype. I think it's a bit overrated. When Payback is resisted, if you're against a fairy and you're just relying on Air Cutter, you're kind of limited, and Sand Attack just non-stab does not apply enough fast move pressure, in my opinion. Otherwise, you got a lot of regular Pokemon in here that we're not surprised to see. Empoleon and Annihilate and Claydol and Dedenne and Lapras, right? Bastiodon, the Shadow version, the non-Shadow's higher. Lickitung, big rise up here. So Lickitung has definitely risen in the rankings. But otherwise, not a ton here. Ferret still at 48 there. Big loser is Diggersby. Diggersby dropped to 104. Now, I think this is an overcorrection here, in my opinion. I do not think Diggersby should be down at the 104 range. I think it is way better than 104. So at this point, I think it's gone too far in the other direction. Maybe not. It shouldn't be in the top 5 anymore because, more ghosts where your quick attack is resisted. Although you resist ghosts too, so it's kind of like offset there. But there's a lot more flyers this season. So Scorching Sands not as strong there. Scorching Sand got the attack, like the chance of the attack falling is down. So I understand that Diggersby got nerfed and probably did deserve a lowering in the rankings. I'm a little surprised it's at 104, quite honestly. I thought it'd be a bit higher. But outside that, I think the big ones are, the big ones, Corviknight coming out at number 1, down to 14. Again, I still think it's usable. I just think it was overrated. Dusclops coming back up to number 9 from like 90 and 40, even though in the video I showcased yesterday, or no, wait, it was like 18 in the video yesterday. But otherwise, you still have a bunch of Pokemon in the 60-70 range that are still usable, right? You have Shadow Drapion at 64, Galarian Mulch is at 63, Dunsparce at 65. I think that's probably risen a bit, but just all up there, all strong, and then with the decrease there. So that is it. But today we are actually looking at where is it? I thought I saw it right here. Castform. And Sunny Castform is if you get rid of the double shadow, non-shadow here, it is the number 4 ranked fire Pokemon because it has that buff Ember, which now charges super fast. You have a stab weather ball, so they're not hitting super hard. But 72 coming at 888 is going to just spam. You have a solar beam for your coverage move, right? Some people were like, should I run solar beam on Ninetales? Like, no, you shouldn't. But when it's an option here, it's your only option. Fine, you can run here. And unlike Ninetales, you actually have stats, right? Lowerish to mid attack 112, and then 121 defense, 146 stamina. This thing can take moves. So we got an ABB. It's not a true ABB, but it's an ABB in the fact that they're both weak to ground in the back. So we have Toedscroll lead, Dedenne, Safe Swap. I'm assuming Safe Swap and Castform in the back. I'll actually read. So Dwigsy, this was from earlier in the season. Let me just close it as I read his submissions here. He is a member of the channel, which is why I'm showcasing it, even though he said feel free to skip this if you want, but nope, you are a member. I will showcase. This team was built out of a desire to just play something fun before ELO reveals and people playing super serious. A desire to try out Castform because a lot of the forms look interesting. I noticed it was basically the same stats as Kanto Ninetales. It just doesn't have Overheat. It also doesn't need an Elite TM for Ember. That's interesting. If anyone wants to try this team, you could with Ninetales. It also has access to Solar Beam. I chose Toedscroll as the Mud Slapper. That beats both Kanto, Marowak, and Gastrodon, the two biggest threats in the backline, right? So you're weak to ground in the back. So having Toedscroll in the front is one of the hardest answers, which is a smart play. It's a pseudo ABB, and that Castform does a good job pulling out the Mud Slapper. Okay, so Castform is a safe swap, but can flip with a decent chunk of the meta with Weather Ball being so spammy. You can typically get Shield or Switch Advantage and go straight Solar Beam if you catch something off guard. Biggest issue I found were actually neutral leads, specifically Ghost and Dragons. I don't think it's a great team by any means. Sometimes you just gotta have fun. So yeah, I think pretty well explained how to play it and the idea behind it. So let's take a look at the battles. Yeah, neutral leads are gonna be a bit tough because you kind of need to dry out this ground. But obviously here you are in a good spot. You just play this matchup out. They are staying. I have no idea why. Ground is resisted, rock is resisted. You can just let all these moves go and take them with ease. They do rock slide, that is also resisted. They are staying in, so we are just over farming here. So smart over farm. Empoleon comes in. So the problem with Empoleon in this, it's a non-shadow, so you're okay because you'll live one hydro. If it was a shadow, it was actually a lot closer because you probably lose in the 2-shield scenario, because with an energy advantage, shadow Empoleon can take you out. But knowing that it is a non-shadow, you lived. Let's see if you want to try to grab that second shield. Yeah, that's what we're going to try and do here. Grab that second shield or keep Switch. Not surprising, you might want to keep Switch because you have the Marowak that just absolutely walls here. They do decide to shield. I guess not surprising. And now what do you do? Oh, they give up Switch. Crazy. They try to snipe you, and they do. But at what cost? So... yeah, I feel like you're already at 100 energy and you just like, I don't want to take this move, but now we just got to a CMP, so it's kind of a waste here. Just throw it. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't counting either, but could have just thrown right away. You still have a move, so I'd throw pretty much blind here. Going for the farm down, okay. Going for the farm down, maybe banking that wrap. That lowers the opponent's defense here, and so that's exactly what's going to happen. Going for the wrap, this will lower the defense. Fairy is resisted on fire, so they can only go this parabolic charge. We CMP'd here. You lost CMP, but one, you're not going to take them out. One parabolic charge is not going to take you out, but now you're spamming at 4s here, and they're spamming at 5, so you will get to the next move before they get to a move. And this is where the Ember is just absolutely dominating here with these Ember Pokemon. Just so fast on the spam, especially with these Weather Balls. Do take it out for the win there. Greninja. So Greninja is kind of an... what do you do here? You know, you're just playing this out for starters. It's neutral because you're half ground. I understand you're water in the back. Sorry, you're fire in the back, so you don't want to do that. Oh, they let it go. That's crazy. Okay, instant swap here. Going into Castform. And just going to try and chip. You know, these Weather Balls come quick, and it's pretty glossy. Shadow Charizard, right? So even just not hard-hitting Weather Ball did take it to 50%. They are just going Air Cutter, and you do live, and they come out with the Clodsire. Now, Clodsire does not have a Mud Slap or anything, so it's only a poison move, so you will be able to spam a couple Weather Balls here. And this is going to just start putting pressure on. We're going to go for CMP here. Oh, banking it. Banking the move. heads up about the switch timer there. Coming in with Toad Scroll. Still going to shield up a move. It was a resisted Earthquake, so that's unfortunate. You know, you would have had at worst a neutral Sludge Bomb, because Sludge Bomb is resisted on ground, so it would have been neutral, and then Rock and Earthquake are resisted. So I don't think you needed to shield that, especially Toad Scroll, which is so bulky. Not super bulky, but it's got a lot of bulk. I guess you did have 2 shields here, because here comes a shield there. Now get the Dedenne in here. We're Dragon Breath is resisted. The only concern is, can they get to a Blast Burn? If it's Air Cutter, it's fine. If it's Blast Burn, it's pretty much going to one-shot. Yeah, there goes a one-shot here. Now we can just farm down. We have multiple moves here on the Castform, because it's just loaded with energy and it just spams so quick. So let's just go back-to-back right away to take this out. And yeah, I kind of mentioned this when I played Kanto Ninetales. It plays so much better. It plays so much better with the Ember Weather Ball here. So this is a bad... Ooh, jeez. Yeah. When not to use the team. I mean, there's not a lot of Trevenants. But basically breaking your team here. I mean, it doesn't break the team. You can't swap into a bad matchup and then shield too. Just going for the Parabolic Charge, hoping to buff that attack before you have to take a move. Even though, defense before you take a move. I mean, at least it's within 2 Parabolic Charges here. Seed Bomb does land. Hope we get one more off. Nope, they get another one off. Oh, brutal. Coming in here in a bad matchup to burn a shield, and are we going to at least get switch? That'd be at least a little helpful. Otherwise, it's a terrible... Okay, so they're going to shield one. That's fine. Water, engine swap. Are you going to try and sneak it in here? Got to the Solar Beam. You pray that this lands. Not surprising it's shielded. But you know what? You grab the shield, and now you have Seed Bomb here. Ninetales has access to Oh, that's unfortunate. Blastoise had the Ice Beam. It's just once. Yeah, you're doubly to ice on Toad Scroll, so that's just one shot. So you can't come back because you're not going to get to another. You're not going to get to another Solar Beam here. If anyone's played Castform before or against Castform, everyone knows that the second move is Solar Beam because it just fire moves otherwise. So I guess not surprising that they did shield in anticipation of it. But yeah, tough there. So get to the grass move. They're at a move. You'll live. But damage is done, right? So it takes you pretty low. You do have a move. Castform, without the shadow bonus here, I don't think this takes out. Again, I don't think Castform can be shadow, but just saying, a Kanto Ninetales would take out there. Yes. Castform, no. Leaves the Corsola with 1 HP because it does have that bulk. Empoleon comes in. You know, at least it's neutral, but you've just burnt a shield. Weather Ball's not enough to take out here. Hydro is going to really, really hurt here. If not take you out. Looks like a CMP. I mean, Castform, it's a non-shadow. Okay, I assumed that Hydro would take out. Oh, man. Look, I'm not counting either. So, I'm not going to... Charizard in the back. Start Parabolic Charging. Talk about best case scenario. Holy smokes, double weak in the back to Dene. I'm not a counter, obviously, you know. Here, remember the channel. Oof, that sucks. Blast Burn basically one-shots despite our defense. There's been multiple times now. Let's try and keep a thought together in one thought here. There's been multiple times that you have tried to optimize fast move timing, and in doing so, allowed your opponent to get a charge move off. And you can't do that. You cannot allow your opponent to... You have to throw that move, even if it's not optimal timing, you have to throw your charge move to grab a shield from your opponent or take them out. Don't have to take damage unnecessarily there. Stunfisk leads, fantastic lead. They come with Togekiss, so obviously a great answer here. Even if it's Psyshock, that's fine. We'll live a Psyshock. Peck is resisted. Aura Sphere is resisted. There's a neutral Psyshock. We're going to boost our defense here. And probably one shot at the same time. They decide to shield. Okay, I mean, they're going to get one back here if they want. And going to probably throw pretty quick. Yeah. Throw pretty quick. Doesn't matter if you hit all the bubbles because this will one-shot. They are very hard fighting for switch here. And I'm not surprised. Toadscroll is just like an absolute wall to Stunfisk. So they are doing everything in their power to win switch here, but they can't. And now they just instant swap, just trying to figure out what's your last Pokemon anyways. But we have a fire on their grass. Will it one-shot? Maybe not. Okay, Meowscarada, yeah. Meowscarada is pretty, Meowscarada? Meow. Scarada? I do not know how to pronounce that. Either way, it's a pretty tough Pokemon to go against. Trying to get to the Solar Beam, and do get to the Solar Beam. This matchup is over anyways because the Toadscroll will just absolutely wall everything. But let's land a Solar Beam. Ooh, you taking the picture to show. Gotta prove it happened. Taking a picture of the Solar Beam on the Stunfisk just to showcase to friends that you did. Obviously, everything's just resisted here. Mud Bomb's resisted, so that's not going to do anything. And we have the Parabolic Charge loaded to take out the Togekiss. Bad lead. Dragon. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get a Solar Beam off here. Yeah, dragons are tough, right? Because you can't go to Dedenne right away. They probably have an answer for that. And fire is resisted. And we do shield. Yes, you have to shield to flip switch because Toadscroll has a terrible matchup. And Dedenne has such a good matchup. So absolutely worth that shield. That Solar Beam. Basically almost one-shotting. Not quite one-shotting, which is unfortunate because then you have to shield. But still, flipping switch is huge here. They'll probably just let everything go and come out with multiple moves. We don't care. We're going to take this low with this Weather Ball spam, resisted or not. Is going to put them pretty low. And you do grab a shield, so that's huge. They're going to have like 2 moves, but 2 moves resisted is still not going to do much here. They could Superpower and bail. You know, Superpower actually will probably do like 35+% here. Thunder Punch, not so much. And Charge a Bug in the back. Well, you know what? They still have a super effective X Scissor. So that lands. It is super effective. Electric, like triple resisted, double resisted on the ground, single resisted on the grass, but X Scissor is super effective on the grass and it is not resisted by the ground. So X Scissor will one-shot here if you don't shield. And letting it go, just going to boost the defense here, knowing that there's no move that either of these Pokemon can throw at you, honestly. So I would let this move go. I wouldn't want to take a Superpower. So yeah, taking the X Scissor, that's resisted. And now getting off your own Parabolic Charge before they get to a Superpower, but that you still have a shield anyways. So it does not matter in the end. Jellicent. I mean, you can slap a couple. And this is another one of those like Greninja. Like, what do you do here? You have a pretty good matchup with Mud Slap, Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb being super effective. You worry that they're going to have an answer for Dedenne. And if they have an answer for Dedenne, it may be a ground. That's fine. They're just going to get off another Surf here. We burnt one shield. If you can, farm down and then see what they have. Okay, they have a Clodsire. And Clodsire is a ground, which would cause problems. So going to Mud Slap this as much as we can. They may have a Sludge Bomb here, which will be enough to take you out. So let's see what you decide to do here. Going to shield, it is a Stone Edge, so they don't have a Sludge Bomb, which means it's going to take a little longer to get to the move, which means you probably just stay in this matchup and hope that they do let it go. So they're going to take it out here. Jellicent does not have much left. Going to bank a move just in case we need it. It is a Morpeko. Yeah, let's just boost our defense. We don't really care. Or our wheels are going to hurt, so let's just keep boosting the defense. And yeah, you can't... I know they know that it's a Parabolic Charge, and I think that Parabolic Charge there is smart, not only because it boosts your defense, But because when they let that first move go, you don't know what's in the back. You don't know if there's a fast move pressure Pokemon or whatever in the back here, and they're like the damage is done, right? They're basically within fast move damage range of both Pokemon in the back. Now they're pretty smart with their CMP here. They got as much energy as they could. They're pretty close to a third move here, and that third move will one shot. So kind of come in here and throw this grass move right away. They may try to farm. Oh, they did throw. That's huge. That is huge. They could have tried to farm down and come out with the 2 times boosted Aura Wheel, and that would have one shot. And that's still probably one shots here. Castform's got some bulk, but 2 times boosted. Yeah, you're not going to live with 2 times boosted Aura Wheel. Sorry. Yeah, that's tough. Aura Wheels are just so hard hitting. Okay. Primeape. So Primeape is annoying because first Rage Fist you're not worried about, but then once you start throwing the second and third and fourth, then we start to worry. Getting to the grass Seed Bomb right away. Is it Seed Bomb? Yeah, it's Seed Bomb. Then going to instant swap into Castform. The only concern with Castform is that it doesn't resist anything, but does spam it just as fast as Primeape does. So grab that second shield. So if you want to, you could just double shield and take this out. Like you're going to have to use both shields here because they're going to give you another Rage Fist, which is fine. So, and what is in the back? Oh, Quagsire. Can we get to move before they get to move? Yes, we can. I thought they'd get to the Aqua Tail first, but this is going to do 5,000,000%. Double super effective Solar Beam. You take that picture. They're going to get to move now, though. You might want to catch. You might live. They just reset their attack, so you actually do live with this because it's got some bulk. So do take this out here. So take this out, and we'll see what's in the back. Hopefully something that Dedenne can deal with. Corviknight, yes, that would be something that Dedenne can deal with. Air Cutter resisted, Payback resisted. Does not matter. Okay, they got the attack boost, and they are doing super effective with sand attack, but that does not matter when you were just going to boost their defense and take it to the yellow. Doesn't matter which move they throw, not enough to take you out. Dedenne is a fantastic answer to Corviknight, obviously. I think we're probably pretty close to the end. I did talk a bit at the beginning on 2 minutes left, so probably one battle. Another Primeape lead, so we'll see if we play it out somewhat similar. They decide not to throw. Okay. I mean, the only problem is you did throw right on CMP at 12 there, so they did get an extra full fast move through. So they're definitely at 2 moves here. And again, in a weird situation where you can live a Rage Fist. Close combat, boosted, it would be closer. Rage Fist, yeah, you'll live with ease. And I'm going to put some pressure on with these Weather Balls. Yeah, this is what these fire Pokemon are going to do with these Zembras. You will put on a lot of pressure with these Weather Balls, especially against Glacier Pokemon like Primeape here. And they are now over farming, so now you just not only took Switch with a shield advantage while giving up your Switch, and they could not answer you. And Clodsire, so I would just throw some Weather Balls, just try and chip it and get the Toad Scroll on it. And now you don't have Dedenne aligned on this. Don't give up Switch, you just stay in. I don't care how much you're farming here. Even if they farm to 100, we don't care. We just stay in this matchup because we need to align the Toad Scroll. And we just stampede, so that's even better. Let this go, Toad Scroll alignment, and we'll see what's in the back. But with the shield advantage and alignment here, this seems like a pretty easy matchup. It's the same team, but it's not the same team. It's a different player. Did someone put out this team? Whenever you see multiple teams, whenever I see multiple opponents running the same team, I was like, okay, what content creator put this out? You can think for yourself, people. And going for the play rough, both moves are resisted, but this is less resisted and a harder hitting move. Trying to get out and do get out, and getting to the move, shield up, throw the move, win the game, and Yeah. So yeah, Castform's fun. I have used Castform. I have used I think I've used all Castforms before. I have. I've used all the Castforms before. The fire, the water, the ice, and the normal. All have Weather Ball. Some variations of Weather Ball plus the second move. A lot of these Castforms do have good stats. They just often fail with their either their typings, like fire is just a bad typing in this meta, right? Rock, water, ground, resisted by dragons, like just not a good typing. Or their secondary move is fast move or secondary move is just garbage. And that's the case here. Like I really like Ember Weather Ball, and you can argue Solar Beam's a good one. 18, it's a cover move. We saw some almost one shots and one shots. Have your cover for the water and ground. It's just so long to get to. Like you're kind of lucky you've gotten to them a couple times, because I don't think that's going to be the regular with some like opponents here. But we saw the pictures, so all good. Anyways, yeah, so that's it. I'll come back with you tomorrow with the new updated PVPoke rankings for the third time. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. No, I assume they won't change until like a couple weeks from now. I don't know. Someone asked in the comments about how, like, what, because again, the ranks from the rank ones to what they were when I showcased the top teams to what they were 16 hours later, like what changed? Like someone asked me like how do these changes happen? Like what are the assumptions, stuff like that. Quite honestly, I don't know. I think there is I think they say on the site that there is like some, I think they say it right on the rankings. Yeah, the site rankings includes editor scores, personal ratings, and notes for some individual Pokemon. These scores aim to highlight core meta Pokemon, correct ratings for Pokemon which may be underrepresented in the simulations, and provide additional commentary outside of the simulated meta. Editor scores will be expanded and updated across the 3 main leagues as the season progresses. I hope results make the rankings more helpful. So that was actually in the editor's his note. So let's see if he actually wrote something on Diggersby in the editor notes, or if it's, oh yeah, there's an editor score here. So Diggersby has fallen off in the format, overtaken by stronger ground types and stronger normal types, notably stronger normal types. Notably, it lacks the fast move pressure of Mud Slap, which has become its defining feature of the format. The bulk still keeps it plenty competitive. So he gave it his own score to move it down. Did he give Dustclops a score to move it up? And did he say, I watched Dan Ottawa and he's so right? No, he didn't even do that. He just had the Sims and it moved up. So I'm wondering if there's like a way to see all the other editor scores of like what's moved up and down. Did he have an editor score for Corviknight? Yes. He has a Corviknight. Corviknight's excellent stats and typing make it a highly rated in simulations, and takes back to the heydays of Skarmory. While Corviknight has a more neutral matchup profile, this is both a positive and negative, and Corviknight can struggle in matchups which appear to be intuitive wins. One of Corviknight's biggest criticism is its weak offensive, which makes Corviknight better absorb damage than dealing it. So yeah, it plays I kind of mentioned this, it does play a bit different from Skarmory. Skarmory is a little more attack heavy, a little less defensive, so it plays a bit different. So it doesn't put out as much damage, and with a fast move that doesn't do anything, and the air cutter, which is not great. Those two combined make it a little underwhelming at times. So I think PVPoke went through and did his own thing on this. I'll be interested to see, because again, the Sims, you can just kind of run all the Sims against each other in the one shield. And I think you just like run the one shield even energy and sim all the matchups against like all Open Great League Pokemon, and then when your record and taking into consideration the meta, will spit out some rankings. And then I think there's an adjustment for I think there is an adjustment for meta and play Pokemon Championship. Like if you know what the meta is, they may get like a slight bump up, and others who can't beat those get slight bump down. I'm not positive about that, but it seems like he just went through and did his own analysis on it and said, I think that some Pokemon are higher or lower just based on what I'm seeing. Again, he's pretty plugged in to what's going on here. He's not wrong. Marowak is the ground. Gastrodon is the Mudslap user. Even Toadscroll coming up now. Like most people focus on those Mudslap users as opposed to Diggersby. Yeah, that's fair. Do I think it should be down at 103? I don't. I think it should be higher. But we'll see how it goes moving forward. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Gonna end it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.